order. We'll do a roll call, and do we have everybody? Thanks.
Yes, I'm there.
Everybody's here. Margaret's on there
here.
twice. So she's doubly represented tonight. So we have a full house. That's good. Let's take a look at the agenda and see if there's any changes to the agenda.
There's no, all you have are dots.
Oh, I'm sorry. What, Richard?
All you have are dots. No A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
No,
1, 2, 3, 4.
there's ABC. What are you talking about?
No, all I have are dots.
Dots.
No, he cut it off on his screen.
Oh,
Oh, I did. There it is right there.
Huh.
you got just dots?
Yep.
Okay.
And no minutes.
Well, I could
Yeah.
share my screen, I suppose.
At least nobody has a cat face on.
That's
Oh,
right.
I should have had a cat.
Yeah. Zoom has to see what's happening. Oh,
I like your cat, Mark.
thanks.
Let's see. Are you okay to go without seeing the agenda there, Richard?
Well, I got the agenda. It's not A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
It's
but you
not
can
a
see
proper-
words?
I got the words and dots before.
Okay. All right. Well, as long as you can see the words. Any changes to the agenda?
Well, I think we should put that article that Mike put in the actual letter from Minnetonka.
Oh, you talking this?
The historic from Minneapolis.
The
Got
old
it
house,
upside
new
down.
rule? It's upside down. That one?
Yep, old house, new rules. Well, it's from Minnetonka. They were trying to do something, and it came on the Historic Preservation Commission over there. Too bad,
Yes.
too bad we don't have rules like that here. We tried to get it that way.
Well, that's further discussion. I'd like to learn more about it. It's a good cautionary tale, isn't it? So, yep, that's on the agenda. We could talk about it. Anything else?
And we don't have the minutes from last month and the month before that.
Yeah, that
Okay.
we are working on a staff change with the for I was trying to get some help from Lois to do some of the minutes, and so next month you will have December, January, and February as one large packet.
Lots of minutes.
The good news is you have the video. If you're curious about what happened or what the discussion was, we can always go back and rewatch it if we need to.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Okay,
guess we'll have lots of minutes. next
Another
month.
topic to put on there is our web page.
What webpage?
The city's web page for us.
For our
We have a
commission?
member that's not on it yet.
Yeah, my name's not been added yet.
Oh,
Really?
okay. I can
I
taste
did
it.
Maybe I got kicked off or something. I don't know.
I'll get that. I'll get that added.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's more of a house cleaning thing. I don't know if we need a whole item on it unless there's more changes.
Probably not worth a bullet point.
Yeah.
No.
Just FYI.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I move it.
Margaret makes a motion. Who? Jason seconds. All those in favor say aye.
I
Aye.
All right. Go right into new business. The 1868 rail bed local designation discussion. This kind of is a continuation of last month's meeting where we talked about the rail bed, and it was something Bob Jensen mentioned. We should maybe think of looking into local designation, at least one of the segments, maybe the best one preserved, and concentrate on that and see what we can do. Mike, I don't know if you had any more on it or not than I did, but just basically started discussion on they're having the Rush Line has their gosh, what do they call it? Memorandum of agreement. And until March 15th, people can comment on that part. I haven't read it yet. I just got it today, so actually this afternoon, about 2 hours for the meeting. So I haven't even had a chance to look at it yet. So I don't know what it says, but it'll definitely be something. When's our March meeting?
It'll also be the 11th.
So it is before the deadline. That's good. So I think we'll have something like that on. Hang on a second.
Mr. Chair.
I kicked up some dust down here in my basement, so I'm gonna sneeze.
Mr. Chair.
What would you say, Richard? Yes.
You know, this is what I brought up a couple months ago, that we should designate this that trail, and
Sure.
we should go with it. We still have to get the city approval, and then go, and the county has to let us do it first.
For local designation, do we have to have the county approve it?
Right, because it's their property.
It depends on the segment, but
No, it's that property is owned by the county rail board. They have to give us permission to put it on our historic. That's what Mr. Coop said to me earlier. That's what I've been trying to rack you guys' brains, that we have to prove.
But Richard, which of the three segments would you like to designate?
If we put the whole thing.
No.
Well, there isn't a whole thing. There's three parts to it. You know, there's nothing to designate between the parts, is what I'm saying. There's three separate parts. So we wouldn't be able to do the whole line. It'd have to be what's still there today. The sad part is there was a great part just north of County Road C when they put in the houses in the early 90s. That would have been a really good part, because you would have been able to see it right from
the trail runs on the original bed, except for a few spots where they moved the track over and done.
Yeah, and what you could locally designate is what's still there. You can't designate what isn't there anymore. So
it's still there. They just put like a class 5 and put
no, they obliterated it. They completely removed the old bed and put a new, better bed, straight bed in. You'd have to go walk it to see it. You can see where
I've done from the Gateway Trail south.
Wait, no, what now? The Gateway Trail.
The Gateway Trail, where they cross.
Yeah.
South.
Well, there's nothing at all left in Maplewood of that 1869 bed south of the Gateway Trail. There's not a trace of it. At least I can't see any of it, and I looked at it pretty hard.
When they put anything that 5 on it, Pete.
Well, no, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you.
When they put put your hearing aid in.
I need hearing aids. Yes.
Check
My
your battery.
It's not very loud, and I don't know why it's quiet. But. Okay, can you repeat that?
Okay, when they put that trail in, they brought class 5 and laid it on top of the rail bed.
Yes.
They didn't take any dirt or any out. Took the tides and the rails out, but they didn't take and dig up anything else. They just put new class 5 and laid the blacktop on top.
Yes, of that.
When I remember when they were doing it.
That's when they covered up the rail bed after the 1868 bed. So in about, I'm going to say 1880s, 1890s, they completely redid the rail bed, made it straight, put in a double track, and abandoned parts of the 1868 bed. That's what we're talking about. Yes, the 1880-90 bed is what's there, but that earlier bed is not part of it for the most part, unless they obliterated it. Yeah, so, I mean, think of what a train bed looked like in 1868. Very narrow. It's not very, you have to go see it. It's very narrow. The one they made later is huge. You know, I don't know how many feet wide, but it's big. It's a double track. So the original one is what we're talking about. And there's only 3 segments left that you could see north of the Gateway Trail. And that's what we should probably focus on, is one of those 3 where you could study it and document it. There's nothing to document south of the Gateway Trail in Maplewood. I don't know about south of, once you get beyond Larpenteur, that's St. Paul's business.
It's St. Paul's problem.
Yeah, it's St. Paul's problem. And there's some cool stuff south of Larpenteur too. There's that bridge at Phelan. There's lots of neat things, but it's not in our world. But
what I'm getting at is, you got to remember, anything over 50 years can be put on our historic preservation list, according to the state. And from Larpenteur all the way up to D can all be done. There are some more primes, like your stuff in where it curves, where the Gateway Trail. I saw that trail, that road bed there too, where they took off from the Bruce Fentel and went on to the Gateway. That bed is there.
Yeah, the Sioux Line bed's still there.
Right.
That's not going to change as far as I know.
But I mean, the thing is, if we shoot for the whole thing, then let them whittle it down to, because there's other, but that's to be, you got to get the county approval to do any of it anyhow.
Well, I think we have a good shot at getting county approval if we do very specific on what's still there. Doing the whole thing, I don't have the study on that, but we do have the documentation of the 1868 bed, and we could do something on that.
Because once it's
already been studied, so
once we get it, once we can do it, then it comes into, we can get grants with the city part of that thing than what the society could do. There's 2 different grants that come into play there.
Well, I don't know anybody at the society that's willing to do a grant on the entire segment, unless you know somebody I don't.
No, I'm not saying that, but I say we as a city commission, we have a different grant. We can get more. I think we can get more money from a grant because we're a city commission than the society can.
Yes. Well, I still think we should focus on something very finite and definite and not the entire bed, because I don't think we have the resources to do the whole thing. At least I don't, unless somebody else does. But I think if we're very, very specific on what we're requesting, I think we have a good shot. If we go for the whole thing, I don't know how we could do it. I just don't at this point.
Mr. Chair, is there a segment that you would think would be better or more likely to do some more research on and make a request for?
The one I think is the best is between Jarvis and County Road C, probably. The next one would probably be the one, County Road D, or what's the name? Fitch, but part of that's in private property. So that might get a little sticky with county and private property. The one that's pretty visible is the one between Jarvis and C. And you could go see it today. I mean, now the snow's covered it, but I know that I'd have to talk to Bob a little more about exactly, but there's a couple little pieces in that little County Road C area, maybe even north of it a little bit. It's pretty rugged though, but the access is better south of C. You can actually see it. And that might be the best one.
Is that the one that Bob was suggesting?
Yeah, I think so. It's one we took pictures of. And you could do a cross cut of it maybe if they let us to do it. You want to get a cross section of it. That's something you could get a grant perhaps to do, is do a kind of an archaeological cross section of it. Or maybe the light rail folks would do it for us. I don't know. But that's something that I'd have to read the whole agreement to see what they wound up saying. And I don't know what they said yet. So I don't know. What
So
does
the-
other commissioners think? I don't know.
Well, I'm trying to get a sense of what the ask would be. So there'd be an archaeological cross section from the design firms, some interpretive signage potentially at that segment, and then is there anything else that would be requested?
The only other thing is possibly avoidance by the when they put in the light rail, try to preserve at least one part of the segment there, so people could see it.
Particularly the things that are outside of the right of way?
Yeah, it'd be on the edge of the. Yeah, it's still within the right of way, but it'd be on the edge of it, so it's possible they could avoid it.
Okay.
I don't know exactly how long of a segment we'd be talking about. We'd have to look at it closer too. But I think it's doable. At least they know. The nice thing is they've done some work on it, so we have some good idea what it is so far. At least work it into their plan, so we have, it's not too late.
Okay.
I don't know. I wish we could have like a field trip out there to see it. Maybe it would.
Let's go.
Huh?
Get your coat on. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, it's a little dark right now, but
We got
when the
flashlight.
weather's better, we definitely should take a field trip to it. You could park at on Jarvis there and walk. It's not a bad walk.
Let's
Get a good
rent a
idea.
party bus and then we can all go together.
Yeah, there you go. Party bus. Yeah, it's not very wide. When you look at it, think of a raised hill, a long raised hill. It's not very big. That train track was not. We're not talking heavy duty train track here. It's pretty minor when you start thinking about what it must have been like. And that thing was curvy, but not very straight. So a lot of click clack. It was probably pretty slow. That first one. What we're still looking for, and I talked to Mike, and the commissioners would love to see it. Somebody did a study on this line, and we only have a bad photocopy of the study. And the city of Maplewood is involved with that. Mike, did you ever find the original copy of that?
I did not, unfortunately, but we've been looking.
It's got to be around somewhere. Whoever did it really did their homework. It has photographs of the track, very early train photographs. And it's very specific to just that line. It's not of the whole big railroad system. It's very specific, and they did a good job. And it was in 2004. It wasn't that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Richard, you're probably in the commission in 2004. Do you remember anything about a study of that line back then? I don't. I mean, I took a break from the commission during that time, so I missed it.
No.
Robert Overby might have been the guy. Does anybody still talk to Robert Overby?
I know Robert Overby, and who's the other one? They are
Ron Cockrell would be the other one.
Ron. Yeah, Ron was chair at the time because Bob Overby was instrumental in what the city council passed back in August of 2000. August 14th.
Anybody still talking to Overby or Richard?
I think he moved, Pete.
Which one?
In Iowa, I think.
Overby went to Iowa. I know that. But Ron Cockrell's still around, right?
Yeah.
Right. So far as I know.
We'll reach out. Nikki, do you talk to him?
I do see him every once in a while on the trails, and I've actually ran into him at the bus stop a few times.
Oh, okay.
So I know he's around.
You didn't run him over, did you?
I tried, but he got all the lights on his bicycle, so.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's one of my goals for the next meeting is to find the original copy of that report somewhere. It's got to be somewhere.
I have a scan copy that I'll share.
Oh yeah, do that. They'll give commissioners a good idea what we're trying to track down here.
So this is what it looks like.
Yeah, look at that.
It's August of
2006.
2006.
Okay, I was off.
And I'll try to get.
Very well done, whoever did this. If you like trains, this is up your alley.
It's 106 pages.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like a book.
Extensive.
I like it that it focuses on the early part a lot, and that's what we're really looking at here is the early days and those pictures. I'd love to see these pictures, but you just can't really make them out.
Right.
What they, laying the rail in 1870. I mean, that's why I'd like to see what this looked like. And look at all the footnotes. This is quite the paper they did. Anyway, we'll try to. Could we get a copy of that sent? Did you send this out, Mike, to the commission?
I did not send it out to the group, but I certainly can.
Yeah, at least you get a good start to read about it and seeing what we're after here. This is the kind of thing it'd be nice to cite if we try to put it on designation, so we could say, well, we have this background on it. This is what we're trying to do. Be quicker than trying to recreate something like this. I can't imagine how long this would have taken. So
sure.
I guess it's something we could talk about more. We find out a little more on. I want to talk to Richard or Bob Jensen too a bit more about it. See what their involvement would like to be.
Steve might know too.
Carlson, yeah, Steve Carlson would be good.
He's up. There's a lot of. He says there's a lot of information up in the barn that some of them don't know because he's cataloged all that stuff.
Could you talk to Steve, somebody, and ask him to look around for this thing? We could scan it much better than we got it now, I'm sure by now. So I have a feeling it's in the barn, in the house or in the barn. It's got to be. I don't know how something like this could have been created and we missed out on it. I'm sure we grabbed a copy.
It's got to be down in the basement.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing it is. I bet you that's where it is.
Because they don't have any. Really, I don't think they have anything out in the barn.
No.
Too cold.
Oh, they don't? Okay. I figured it was in the basement.
And it's not weather climatized where it would keep papers very good.
No, you want it to be climate controlled.
Right.
Well, okay. Well, maybe we'll try to get at this a little more formalized next meeting and something we can actually chew on a bit more.
Because you got to get the county approval to do any of this before anything moves farther.
Yeah, we'll reach out to the county and find out.
Victoria Reinhardt is, I think, the chair of that group.
Yeah, let's see what she says. I might reach out to her and see what she says about this. Okay. I'll expect to read more about trains, I guess. All right. Moving on a bit. C2, City's Strategic Planning Update. We need some goal setting, right, Mike?
Well, yeah, I wanted to talk about setting some goals for the group for the calendar year. What do we want to accomplish? And one of the other things that I thought would maybe be helpful is to see how the city itself sets up their strategic plan. And so what I want to do, give me a second, I will share my screen to see, and Councilmember Villavicencio is going to, this will look and sound familiar from Monday night. So I apologize, but you'll get a crash course. But on the city's website, they have the strategic plan outlined for summaries, and they've identified sort of 6 key areas. The first one is community inclusiveness, striving to create a community that's engaged, tolerant, and compassionate about everyone, respects diversity, and uses the different perspectives and experiences to build an inclusive and equitable city. They have a piece about financial sustainability, maintaining a positive financial position. Revenues and expenditures are balanced, debt is managed. They have one around infrastructure and asset management. This is taking care of the stuff that you own, whether it's a building or a road or a sewer, that you've got long range plans for taking care of your infrastructure. The other one is integrated communications, making sure our residents know what's happening in the community, that the identity is effectively communicated across a broad range of messages and mediums. And then 2 others, operational effectiveness, just being good at the work, making sure that the culture conveys trust and builds transparency. There's goals and expectations are set, values drive the work, and that there's accountability and best practices. And then the last one is targeted redevelopment that leverages resources to expand the tax base, create housing options that meet diversity of the community, and promote commercial development. And one of the things that I think is helpful, and I'll just pick infrastructure and asset management, is you can go down to the next layer and to see what does that mean. And so from the city standpoint, it's capital assets are maintained. The local roadway systems are maintained to a high quality system. Natural resources are managed, and city parks and trails are well maintained, accessible. And so they've got kind of this high level and then a little bit deeper dive, and then a third layer down, which is actually where some of the work happens. And so they want to do implement the Parks Master Plan, develop a roads rating system, measure resident satisfaction, and then make sure everything is plowed out within 48 hours. All trail sidewalks are cleared within 48 hours after a street clearing. And then even if you wanted to get a little bit more, you could go down and do one more layer. And so the last update is they interpreted or entered, the data into the system, created a list of playgrounds. And so there's a way to build a strategic plan for this group that goes as deep or as shallow as you would like. And so one of the things I would like to ask the group about is, what are some of those strategic plan areas that you think the HPC ought to tackle? And how deep down do you want to get before we start to flesh out our work plan? And I'll ask this whole question to the whole group, and maybe everybody can weigh in on what you think, and I'll stop sharing there.
Yeah.
There we go. Now I can see you all again.
Yeah.
So, what are the key areas that you want to, I obviously the rail bed and the 1868 rail bed seems to be sort of a priority area to solve for. What else do you want to work on this year?
What I didn't see on that strategic, that plan was the historic part of the city.
Mike, why don't you isolate that and maybe send us an email, and maybe we can add to that, and then bring it back next month and see if there's some kind of consensus or just even input that we recognize. And Richard is right; we're lacking in any historical context there, and that's probably our focus, isn't it, Pete?
Are we creating our own strategic plan, or are we adding to the cities?
Yes.
You would create your own.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was giving you an example of how it could work. You'd have some big things and then some work around it, and then some smaller things and some work around it. So in terms of a flow, if you can identify the 3, 4, 5, 6 categories, we can build a pretty good plan and maybe do it for 2 or 3 years even.
Yeah, you'd see a pattern. You'd see a pattern coming at you, and you've got good representation here that would reflect some history. So you got a architect there too, so he can.
We're lucky.
Yeah, we are. So
We have an ace in the hole there, John.
They have a whole segment for just redevelopment. Well, redevelopment is not trying to save any of the older or historic buildings in the city. So you got almost, the historical part is almost a standalone segment. And I don't know, but
yeah, I think Mike, you might see some patterns developing and institutions that we'd recognize, and it'd just be a rehash in the past anyway. So it'd be beneficial, and then that would create what the commission sees as the future, action steps. I think. Wouldn't you say, Pete?
Yeah, I mean, I think like the historical society should be part of it too somehow.
Right. That's right. Yes.
I think of stuff, like property, the barn, that, that they have their own kind of plan, right? Master plan.
I could introduce that and get some feedback there, and that'd be important. Then Mike, it's what you're doing. You're going a level deeper, and so then we could put it up. Maybe that'd be something to put on a website, just a action step, and ask the general public what they think. If there's some consensus there.
Okay.
Do you have any big projects in the next 5 years? This is like a 5-year thing, right?
Yep.
So we should think ahead and anything that's coming up. Like, we always seem to update the Century Homes every so often, so that might have to come into play eventually here. We'll have to find out last time we did it, which would have been 2017, I think. So that might be something on the horizon. I don't know if we're doing it just every 10 years or what, but it's always an interesting.
We have it somewhere in the minutes. We set the time of how many after so many years we were going to do it. Who has that record? I don't know.
I just can't remember if it was 10 or might only be 10 years, every 10 years, but we're not quite there yet. Probably,
I think it was more than every 10 years. I mean, it was less than 10 years. 5 or something like that.
Okay. That's something to think about.
John, didn't we just do that a few years ago?
Yeah, it was about 3 years ago, though.
Okay. All right.
Comes up quick.
Yeah.
Jason, do you have any thoughts on anything you'd want to throw in there? Just to grab the new guy, pick on the new guy.
Sorry, I was trying to unmute. No, I don't have anything specific that I would like to dig into yet. I think I'm still fairly new to the game here, but I'm definitely interested in everything everyone else is saying.
Good.
How about Margaret? You got thought? Anybody? Anything you want?
What are they going to do with the old city hall?
Which one?
Well, the one on Frost.
The old town hall?
Yeah, the old town hall.
Mike, any update on that thing?
I do not have an update right now.
I think it just will slowly sink into the ground over the years. I don't know. That thing has got 9 lives. I swear. Every time I think it's going to be gone, and it continues. Oh, I like that, Jason. I like the cheeseburgers. Does anybody have a hand in that by chance? We have a new commissioner. All right. The historians get younger every year, I say. Does everybody wave? What's her name? Oh, I love it. Oh, we have more kids. Hello. We've had cats, we've had kids. See, we usually wouldn't get this in an in-person meeting, so I'm gonna miss this about the Zooms a little bit. One thing I would suggest putting in the plan would be we've always wanted to study more in the businesses of Maplewood, and we have bits and pieces, but we never really did a good analysis of businesses. There's some old ones. We did it one other time with like Schroeder Milk and things like that. But we should probably do that again, like businesses that have been around at least 50 years or something. And that was always a lot of fun, highlighting who's been around a long time in Maplewood. It was surprising, some of them, that Haney Rental's been around a long time now. That might be kind of an interesting thing. And is that something you could do with a click of the button these days? Spit out business, I don't know, corporations or whatever they are. I don't know what you would have to do. That feasible, or do you think, or
that'd be more realistic.
Oh, okay. Maybe Bob.
Pete, I started that getting the businesses together or making a list, and as soon as I turned the list over, somebody in the city thought that would be a great idea to put a fee on them.
A fee?
Yeah, they had a business fee that they tacked onto them.
Fee for what,
I
though?
stopped giving them, huh?
A fee for what?
For running a business in Maplewood.
Recognition fee.
Now that might deter a few of them.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that led to, I don't know if Mike might not know this, but when we done this before at the businesses, we actually invited them to. Well, this was back when we ran the community center, but it was a great business gathering of small businesses at Maplewood City Hall to highlight their what they do. And there were some of them that thought it was the best thing ever. I remember Richard from Richard's Market. He thought it was wonderful because he'd been there for how many years. And he said, it's great to be recognized by the city, these small businesses that have been sticking, at it for so long. And I don't know, it was a real fun night. It was a long time ago now, but I know something like 50th. That. Was that for the 50th?
Right.
Okay.
Schroeder Milk came in and Pauline had a heart attack because they took the hinges off the door so they could wheel in their cooler full of milk and what have you.
Well, I don't know. I mean, just this.
We got Pauline off to the side. They came in, they put the door back on. When they got done, they took it off, got her off the side, and we pushed it out.
They've done it before, it sounds like.
Yep.
Well, just that's a thought. I mean, I would, some kind of thing like that, maybe. Obviously, it's not something a 1-year project. That's a longer term thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, we did it in about 9 months.
Yeah, we did.
I planned most of them activities.
Yeah, that's the thought. Any other any brainstorming?
Move on, Pete.
Move on. Okay. All right. Yeah, Pete could talk about this stuff all night, probably. Actually, anything more, Mike, you want from us? Goal setting or?
No, I think I actually have quite a bit. So I'm going to, so next month, plan on about 30 minutes of just talking about these categories of issues. Okay. And what's one thing you would want to do, and we'll get that out ahead of time. You know, what's the end product that you want out of a certain topic area?
Okay.
Plus, we also have to follow the Minnesota Department for Historic Commission. We're supposed to be putting one property on our historic list per year.
Oh, maybe it'll be a rail bed there, Richard.
Well, I'm just putting out, and we're supposed to have training.
Yeah, that's we usually have that. That's usually in the spring. We get the training. So I'm sure there's something available. Okay, moving on to D1 then. Actually, this kind of ties into the strategic planning. And you got the article. And it ties into the Ramsey County Poor Farm, and what it's more of a issue is, I look at it as a with the Poor Farm Barn and what happened in, what town was it? Excelsior. A lack of communication between historical preservation commissions and the historical properties. Mm-hmm. Two different situations. The Poor Farm Barn and these folks were going to start a business, right, in Excelsior. Now, and what this would be part of a strategic planning is, for 50 years, Maplewood had a newspaper. And at the end of 2019, Lily Paper closed them all down. And ever since then, I've been really worried about communication out there. You know, you lose the news, you lose some of the communication. And I realized over time how much I really missed the Lily News. Because if you really wanted the story of Maplewood items, you read the Lily News. I mean, the little bit you get online just isn't very deep, and you want the real story. And so I don't know what's a replacement for it. Maybe we could do more on the city website or something like that to give more information. Maybe we should reach out to the property owners like the Poor Farm Barn and keep up with the communication, because people retire. Jolly Mangini used to be the property manager of Ramsey County, retired.
Mm-hmm.
We should be more on top of that to keep them, say, hey, there's rules to be followed with that Poor Farm Barn, and I was hoping commissioners would have ideas on how we can improve our communication with the public, I guess, in general.
You're on to something there, Pete, because it isn't just Maplewood, it's all communities.
Oh, it's all over the place. Yeah.
We're all lacking. So if we gave it some attention, that would resonate for others. Anything we do in that regard. And it's germane to what we're dealing with. You're right. Losing that Lily paper, whether it was any good or not, it has impacted, because now it's the only thing we have is Pioneer Press.
Yeah.
And that's real lacking. So no coverage.
Yeah. It's a lot thinner than it used to be too.
Oh, but yeah. And I'll tell you, somebody that reads the Star Tribune every day, that's now the size of the St. Paul paper, because there's no ads, So
I'm at a loss. I don't know an answer here.
That might be a focus for us, because you probably isolated it. There's got to be a substitute or another medium of information gathering or recording, and maybe, I don't know if the city is doing anything along those lines.
Remember, Bob, the city also pulled out of the cable commission that they could produce and put it across 16 communities what's going on in Maplewood. But now it's just on the internet.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Do we now do an internet outreach more? And I haven't looked into that, how that would be done. I do read the city newsletter, and I do welcome that. But even that's not exactly what it used to be either. It's pretty small. It's basically a 4-pager now.
Yep.
I'm glad they still do it. Mike, I hope they never cut that, because then we really won't know what's going on.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know what the plans are of the city newsletter. It's changed a lot over the years. Remember Maplewood in Motion? That was one of the eras of the newsletter. Something to look into. I don't know if we could have a little history corner in that. I don't know, just to say a little bit about historic properties, or I don't know. Now, we've done it in the past, but I don't know. It's been a while since we've pursued it, I guess. But yeah, I'm open to ideas if anybody's got any.
Yeah.
Does Maplewood have a radio station? Or is it just the big, I don't know. I go to 107.1, whatever, because in the community that I used to live in, they had their local radio station, and it really told what was happening in the community and the like, because not everybody is good at internet or has computers.
It's a thought. I don't know if the city ever thought about a radio station.
I haven't seen it locally, just because there's so many big ones that would compete for attention.
Yeah.
What town was that, Margaret?
Lamar's, Iowa.
Okay.
And they had a great historical society there. They bought a old school, and I think it's about 4 floors are full of wonderful things. So they're real pro making sure that people are thinking about the history of Lamar's and Plymouth County.
Now I want to go there.
Yeah. It'd be worth
Excuse me, Chair. Oh,
yes.
sorry, Margaret. I didn't mean to speak over you. I was just going to say that I totally agree with you guys that we need some sort of communication like that. The thing that I was thinking is I think it needs to be community driven. not necessarily government driven. The other thing that I would add to that is maybe consider something like a podcast.
Okay.
It's something that's easily shareable, and you don't have to have a lot of computer savviness to do it. Yeah.
I like the idea. A podcast would be kind of fun. Is that how would they do that? That'd be kind of like what they were used to do with the kind of the focus on the parks. There's been some work on it. I know that when they did the dedication for the Gladstone Savannah project, they kind of had something like that. I like it.
NPR does a podcast twice a day, once in the morning and once in the afternoon, and it's literally just 6 minutes where they hit top topics and then give you information about, if you want to learn more, where to go. So somebody could easily put together a podcast like that. It would take very little effort.
Yeah. Do people then look at it later, or do they have to look at it live, Jason? Is that like a thing that's
either or?
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that'd be kind of fun.
I look at it later after work or whenever.
Yeah. That'd be, I think the society would like that too. I can see them getting into that. I don't know what platform, how we do it, Mike, but
well, we have the capability to do the recording. And then what you essentially do is you create a podcast channel on, iTunes and Google Play and other sources, and it just becomes a thing. So we have the capability to do it. We just need content.
Okay, Mike, does it the city still have channel 16?
Yeah, there's a replay schedule for channel 16. All of the things are replayed and on live.
Because back Gary Bastian, who was on the mayor at the time, he got to deal with the cable commission, and they have a crew out there that will go out, take the truck out, and we've gone to the different schools. But since Maplewood pulled out, we haven't done anything in Maplewood. They did the 50th thing. Anytime the society wanted it, we brought the truck out.
Hey, don't
they send cameras to take it and put it on channel 19 or 15.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a podcast online, I don't see any problem. It could be on broadcast on the cable either.
A lot of people don't have computers, Pete.
Yeah,
That's what they're having trouble with the shots now. Us old fogies don't know how to get onto the webpage to get the shots.
Mike, are they still airing like the things they did like with the Wakefield Park and things like that? Is that still out there, or is it?
I don't know the answer to that question. I do know they show the city council, the workshops, and then the commission things here. So you can, they have airtime for the formal work. I don't know what they run otherwise.
Because if we do set up like a history channel, history hour, or whatever, history minute, it'd be fun to have a library of things that they've done, but in the past they're kind of evergreen, and you could throw them in there. That was a lot of hard work they did on some of those. So they long ago. Remember GTN? They did the kind of the history of Maplewood, and they aired that for years on, I don't know what channel was 16 or not, but it was
16 and 19.
Yeah. So, I mean, we could have things like that.
I'm still doing TV shows with them. I was supposed to be out.
GTN?
White Bear Hockey and something else, Eastridge.
Okay. I didn't know if GTN was still around, but.
Yeah, they had when Gary Bastian set up the cable commission, there were 16 communities, and everybody in the community could get free cable. There was 5 channels that got free, no charge to them.
Oh, I remember.
and I know a little bit more of the detail, and I'm not going to go into that right now because I'll create a lot of headaches.
Okay. Well, at least this is some good ideas. I like it. Doesn't have to be.
I got 400
really
400 segments of my own show, and then I did Jerry Markey's educational update.
Okay.
And I did Chuck Wigger's show. I think
that's right.
That studio.
I've done Chuck Rigger's show. It's a lot of fun. He's got a few buttons.
But I was I was doing the mechanical work. You were just talking, head bobbing.
Yeah.
I'm good at that.
I'm writing right now. I'm sorry.
And I had Bob on the hostess one time too.
What is Mike? What's the official city paper now?
It is the St. Paul Pioneer Press.
It is, okay.
Yeah, and I'll just say, we missed the Lily News because it was cheaper to run things.
Yeah.
So when we run required postings or we do job postings, we pay a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay, well, we got some ideas. Let's see what else. I don't know if anybody has anything more on the article, but it caught my eye, and I thought it was a real good article showing good intentions and then not knowing the rules, and then that could lead to bad feelings. And I don't want that to happen in Maplewood. I really don't. I want us to. We really don't have a lot of buildings that fall under that criteria. We do have one, and at least we have a lot of eyes keeping an eye on it. So that helps us. And I guess as we move forward here, it's good to keep an eye on stuff like that. So podcast, I don't know. That'd be kind of fun. Bob could go back in the podcast business easily, I think.
Bob Jensen, yes.
No, you, Cardinal. What are you talking about, Jensen?
No, he did cable.
Yeah.
He did cable.
Well, cable, podcast, it's not that different, really.
Yeah, it is.
Nowadays, that's the thing I was going to say is that no matter what you guys decide to do, you could package it so that it can go on a number of different mediums.
Yeah.
In fact, now at Channel 19, they're putting a lot of the hockey games and basketball games that we do right onto Facebook and YouTube.
Well, that's a good point, Richard. The Historical Society has Facebook, so we could always reach out to them too and put things on their Facebook. I haven't looked at it lately to see how many followers they got, but it'd certainly reach out to the people interested in history.
Do we have a Facebook page?
I doubt it.
As a HPC, I don't believe so, but I do know that the city does.
We post things on the city Facebook.
Sure.
No, it's a thought.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be an easiest thing to do, even easier than a podcast. You get a picture and tell a story. That's all you need for that.
Right.
So if anybody's got anything like that, Jason, you got it? Oh, I can't hear you, Jason. You're muted. Oh, I thought you're trying to say something.
The other thing, Pete, is if you watch Friday night, this Friday's going to be on at 6:11. Bob Fletcher runs with his cell phone and broadcasts live.
Hey, Pete, let's move on.
Hey, Bob.
Bob must have a hot date somewhere.
I don't know. Is there a game on tonight at 8:00? I don't know. Ain't the Super Bowl. That's all I know. Okay, moving on to E1, Maplewood Area Historical Society update. So, Bob, this is you.
Okay, well, it's cold out, and there's going to be a snowshoe event coming up. Look at the website. And then hopefully there'd be some production in the summer and there's an international day. I think July 8th or 9th. So we're not seeing anybody out there right now, and especially Margaret. I haven't seen her for a
Hey, I'm working with my knee. Let me tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, good time to work on your knee.
Yeah, I've got a brace on it right now. So.
Okay.
Well, you look great.
Yeah.
So
You don't
Pete,
work my knee.
just to mention, we've met over at the Little Canada Historical Society building the last couple of months, and boy, they've got some nice history over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Kurt is inviting us. So we're active and positive and moving forward, and
Okay.
We'll see as it goes.
It's great news to hear that you're meeting over at Little Canada. They got a wonderful museum. If anybody's interested in genealogy, definitely stop in there, especially if you have the last name of Cardinal.
Right.
If you're au français, they might be able to help you out there. So that's good news. Before I forget, any news on things the city is doing this summer, 4th of July or anything been decided yet? Is it Nikki or Mike?
Go ahead, Councilmember.
I was just going to yield to you, Mike, because I have not heard anything.
Okay, just curious.
So we ordered fireworks.
Woohoo!
We don't know if we can shoot them off yet, but we have them planned. We'll improvise with food trucks, and so we've secured some ideal, food vendors and those kinds of things. We really won't know until people get shot in the arm with a vaccine and see how that goes between now and I would say middle of May. We'll probably have to make a go, no go decision, but we're planning for it. We just don't know what the outcome's going to be.
Okay.
So just so we're all aware, that 4th of July is on a Sunday this year.
Oh, good.
Oh.
That's nice.
Yeah,
That means the holiday will be the Monday.
Correct.
Yes, that's true.
I always like 4th of July is where I can stay up late.
I stay up late every night.
Well, you're a night owl, but
No,
that's good to
I don't
know.
have to go to work.
Yeah.
That's good to know about the 4th. Kind of helps us with the summer about a little bit that there could be something. Anybody gotten the shot yet here? Nobody? You're trying?
They keep telling me soon.
And diabetes, and I can't get it.
Okay.
Why can't you get it, Margaret?
I'm not winning the lottery, and honestly, I tried down in Iowa at the old where we used to live, and they said because I didn't have a residence down there, I couldn't. And I asked them, didn't 20 years constitute having lived there? But yeah, I just haven't hit it right, so I stay home.
Okay. I'm hoping for the next meeting I'll see some hands up.
I think you're going to wait a little while.
Oh, well, I hope you guys get in there. I know I'm going to be a while, but hopefully you guys will.
My wife's got her 2 shots already.
Oh,
Really?
I'll do the hand clap thing.
So
Emoji here.
I'm halfway okay.
That's good. Well, you're getting there. Keep playing the lottery, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I have anything else. Anybody, commissioners, have anything they want to add? I guess I'll probably see if there's the demo reports ready by next month.
Oh, we had the article for Minnetonka that Mike put on the letter.
Oh, you mean
How
you
can we be that way? Mike?
You want to see what their rules are, Richard? Is that what you're asking?
Well, they supposedly have rules that the older buildings have to come to the Historic Preservation Commission, and I got practically shot out of off the ground when I brought up the August 14, 2000, where they approved our budget or our commission and told them what we were supposed to do. Then I got a letter stating the city can't do it. Well, if the city can't do it, how come the Minnetonka can do it?
Well, I tell you what, they had a meeting a week after this article, so I'm going to look up what they wound up doing because they were going to discuss this issue at their HPC meeting, and I'm sure that's got to be out there somewhere. So now I'll report back and see what they decided to do. I'm going to guess they followed the same guidelines as like the Poor Farm follows, something like that. Renovations
They have it where they're more than likely the owners of the property have to come to the HPC commission.
Yes.
And get approval.
No, it's
That's
weird.
what I've been pushing for here for us to get the things brought up, our ordinance and what have you, up to date.
So this is where they kind of like with the Poor Farm is when they approach the city for the building permit, some trigger should go off saying, this has to be run by HPC or something. And that's what I'm guessing Excelsior didn't have when they asked them.
As we move on,
quit pushing so fast. You were mayor at the time and didn't see the whole thing go through.
I would like to thank Mike for sending that link to us, and Nikki, you should see if maybe Mike can send it to you, or somebody can send it to you. Oh no, you would have gotten it. He did come.
You got the article, right, Nikki?
Nikki,
did you get the article?
Yeah.
Did I get the article
Yeah.
in my email?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you did.
Must have just got it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was Tuesday.
Oh, I did.
Tuesday.
Yeah, okay.
Yep, I did. I didn't read it yet, so sorry about that, but I will.
That was good of Mike. So my last words tonight are thank you, Mike, for being with us and being our staff.
Yes. Thanks for setting all this up.
We're very fortunate.
You're welcome.
I hope you guys have a
You're
happy,
welcome.
coldest Valentine's Day ever. So.
So I'm going to send one more link out to folks. I don't know. So Steve Lucan was the fire chief.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Steve.
Yeah.
43 years with the city. He had his last day was officially December 31st, 2020. And there's a video that we made up for him. It's about 10 minutes and 50 seconds.
Okay.
I'm happy to play it now and let it roll, or I can send you the link, your choice. But it really captures. There's a lot of. We went to his family and some friends, and so there's some really great old photos and sort of a great story about Steve's career with the city. So,
I say play it now.
He was a good one. He and I joined about the same time of the fire department.
All right, so I'm gonna do this right now. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, which one do you see? Do you see yourselves, or
LUK?
Steve, the firefighter's chief, and
all right. So here we go. I'm gonna move you guys over here.
He loves the community, he loves the people here, and he just works his tail off to make sure everything is working right.
He was born and raised here. He was a business owner here. He raised his family here, and he continues to live here.
But he was a member ever since he was a young kid of the Gladstone Fire Department.
He has a lot of history within the city.
Being able to live and work in your community was right up there at the top, knowing so many of them and being able to help.
Like, he's courageous, he's strong, he's dedicated, he's thoughtful of others, mindful of people's safety.
You know, I've never seen a harder working chief in any other organization than him. I mean, he's very hands-on, he gets involved, he's there with us doing everything.
He will probably push you out of the way to try and take a nozzle if he can, but he has no problem functioning in that line firefighter role or jumping in wherever he can.
If he's not doing chest compressions, he's supporting the family. I mean, I've been doing this for 27, going on 28 years. When I saw him on the first cardiac arrest, my first question was, The fire chief is doing CPR. And I'm looking around at everybody else thinking, why is that happening? Oh, it says full arrest. I'm like, you're about to see him run through these doors. And exactly what we were talking about.
You hear story after story with Steve Lucan where someone's basement is flooded. He and other people are coordinating to get the basement pumped out of water, or they know of a person in need in our community and they're bringing food.
For a short guy, he's got some big shoes that he walks around in, and I don't that I can tell him. I hope that I can carry some of the traditions and work ethic and things like that he has in the department.
He's always been a firefighter's chief, always willing to teach you.
When I started here, I was a 28-year-old kid. I didn't know a lot about being a fire chief, and so he's kind of been like a father figure to me, both personally and professionally. He taught me a lot about how to be a fire chief, what's required financially, politically, how to navigate with difficult people, how to have difficult conversations.
To get to the point that I have in my career, to have Steve as one of my supporters and hopefully me one of his supporters, it's allowed us to do better for the community.
He really brought the needs of the citizen to the.
Can you folks see this video?
No.
Sorry, can you see this?
Yeah.
Now we can see it.
There we go.
I
was just seeing Maplewood, Minnesota.
No, I'm sorry, folks. So there's been pictures and things. I'll just thank you, Councilmember, for pointing that out.
Forefront, just an outstanding fire department. And I want them to really know that because it wasn't easy. Those transition periods from paid on call to full-time firefighters, from a paramedic program that was loved, from the police department moving it into the fire department, those were very tough, hard negotiations.
The fact that we could no longer sustain the paramedic program within the police service, and Steve kind of helped advance that forward by getting firefighters to go to medic school and become firemen. Prior to that, I mean, the majority of the firefighters were just emergency medical technicians. They didn't have those advanced skills that a paramedic has.
Even when we were transitioning over and eliminating the cop medics and stuff like that, he really stuck up for all of us. He understood everything we've gone through and worked with and everything we've done together over the years, and that wasn't lost on him, and that continues to this day.
It's emotional when they leave, because that leaves a hole in a department. And when you look at how much he's done for this department, taking it from a 100% volunteer department to paid on call department to a fully career department, I don't think anybody in the city would have ever expected Maplewood Fire to be a fully career department.
Steve is that guy that is constantly working with people and cares about people. That he's had with our full-time staff and with retired firefighters, with our part-time staff, when we had a part-time staff, were really key to getting through a difficult process in a way that was respectful to everyone.
His management style was a hard humanitarian.
He could take programs and make them work. The 800 megahertz radio system, which was implemented when I was still here, he took the bull by the horns there. He handled the purchasing of the radios and handled all that for the police and the fire department.
I think that's a really fitting place for his emergency management career to wrap up.
By far, this pandemic will be almost at the very top of what we've had to do in my 43 years in the fire service.
On March 14th, we declared a disaster, and an emergency rather. And on that same day, I was already fielding calls from Steve in particular about PPE, how many PPE his crews are using when they're going into the scene, how he was addressing. It was kind of interesting because he addressed the fears of his staff with the realities as well.
We were well over probably 3,000 masks, if not more. And I would say in the gown side of it, we were probably neighborhood of 2,000 to 2,500.
In this pandemic, he's constantly out there when he gets reports of homeless people, trying to coordinate resources to make sure that the people in our community, whether they be a person that has lived here for 50 years or whether they're a person that's down on their luck, has a safe place to stay, has food, has shelter.
Working through some of the issues that we've had with homelessness in our community, Steve goes above and beyond. One night, Steve was out looking at 7 o'clock at night for a homeless gentleman in our community to make sure that he had a safe place to stay.
In our communities, and particularly in your city, we had the right leadership in place in our public safety folks.
It's going to be difficult for Steve to just step away and step back from the fire service because the fire service has been Steve.
He's talked about it for at least 10 years. Always said he was never going to retire, so I was very shocked to see him pull the pin.
It was not unusual for me and my wife and his wife to be out for dinner and him to leave in the middle of dinner to go on a fire call.
We joke that some of the things that he got away with his family, like abandoning them at restaurants and birthday parties and Christmas parties, etc., leaving his wife and 3 young daughters while he ran to a fire call. I joked with him just this week that if I pulled some of that stuff, I'd be divorced in a hurry.
It's a huge time commitment for the family, and his wife and his kids have endured 43 years of up and leaving.
To have 43 years, fight mess, to have a support system both inside work and outside of work. So he demonstrated a great ability to integrate his family in what we're doing.
They were doing an open house at one of the fire stations, and there were more of Steve's kids and grandkids there working than there were firefighters.
His wife has shown up at an apartment fire to help stabilize a young person that had special needs because that was her career background. So he just called her up and she showed up and helped the family figure out what they're going to do now that they're displaced to this fire. That's not common in the fire service.
The next couple months are probably going to be tough for him because it's wintertime and you're kind of stuck at home. I know he doesn't play golf, but he does like to hang out with his grandkids and get them out, have fun, try to relax.
Well, she's been retired about 3 years now, and so she got into the groove of it. And we both said there is no way both of us could be retired and home at that much at the same time, and I can't either. I love her to death, but it just won't work. So I definitely will try and find some kind of a part-time job doing something.
Oh, yeah, no, I have no doubt that in 3 weeks he'll have a job doing something else.
Sleep in, stop thinking about work, which he will not do, and really, truly try to enjoy life outside of the city of Maplewood employment.
Having to worry about all your firefighters and paramedics and everyone in public safety in general being in harm's way every single day to just being out of that, man, that's going to be very hard. Make your hobbies like your full-time job for the first 3 months to reprogram your brain on how to be a normal human being again.
Steve's been a great friend and a great colleague, and I'm going to miss the heck out of him.
I just hope Steve has a wonderful, wonderful retirement. He's certainly earned it after all these years.
Enjoy this time, Steve. Congratulations on your retirement. I want to thank you for the amazing amount of service you've provided the residents of Maplewood, the city councils that you've worked with, the city managers that you've worked with, and also for all the mentoring that you've done to others in your profession.
It's been a great ride. I've had so many great people to work with and that have worked for us. It's going to be a tough transition to leave that. All of a sudden wake up one day and you find out you're no longer doing the job you've done for 43 years. I'm not looking forward to that, but I'm also looking forward to new things that'll be coming around the corner.
I met Steve in 1995 in Maplewood when I did arrive. Steve has worn several titles, including engineer, deputy chief, captain, and then appointed fire chief at the start of this century. His career with the city has been quite exemplary. Steve has seen many challenges over the 40-plus years, but this man stays positive, never shows any fears. The achiever in him has come in handy, showing up for all calls at all hours. Steve is just dandy. If you need something done, Steve is the guy. He can be counted on to help folks, even those who sleep under the sky. Besides his commitment to the fire service, Steve is a husband, grandpa, and father. When he is with his family, hanging at the pool, please don't be a bother. There is also a side of Steve that likes to have fun. Pedal pubs, winter vacations, and some of them on ships. I've seen him at poker smiling while counting his chips. I want to congratulate you, Steve, on a job well done. Your service and dedication is second to none. Stay well and be happy as you begin to change course. Enjoy this new venture. Slow down, have fun, and perhaps get a horse.
Originally, Commander Shortreed wanted to be a firefighter, but the aptitude testing was set so high, and he failed that the next possible thing at a much lower level he could do was become a police officer. So
Chief Lucan really wanted to be a police officer, but he learned that it was too dangerous for his skill set, so he decided to be a fire chief instead. So we congratulate Steve for being an awesome fire chief.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Michael.
That was good. Thanks, Mike.
All right.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
I'll send you the link so you can see that again if you're interested.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Some of them I haven't seen in a long time. Denny Cusick was my neighbor. I heard reports of him coming through the neighborhood with his bow and arrow.
He started paramedics. He started the
Yeah.
paramedics.
He taught me a lot of first aid back then. And then Tamala.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Thanks.
well, I appreciate that, folks. Did we lose Pete?
No, I'm still. Oh, I don't have my video on there.
Oh, there we go. Sorry
I thought maybe it
about
would help out the bandwidth by.
Yeah,
there.
I couldn't tell if that was on my end or what. So just
No,
every once in a while.
I thought, oh, this might help. Then it didn't do any good. So.
Well, that was my staff presentation. Just talk about Steve, and I'm sure we'll all see him around. He doesn't go far.
Yeah.
Oh, he lives right across the street from the fire station.
By the way, there needs to be a correction. He does play golf.
Oh, he does. All right. Well, good.
All right. Well, I suppose, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting? Bob has a motion to adjourn the meeting. I don't believe it. For a second.
Well, he's been trying to go for an hour.
Margaret second it, or John second it. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None.
See you,
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Guys, see ya.
Thanks, guys. Later.
Hey, guys.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Nikki.
Stay warm.
Take care.
Stay warm. Yes.
Thank you. Bye-bye.